I'd like to call the Monday, November the 13th, 2017 Blue Springs Planning Commission meeting to order. If you would please join me and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to welcome everyone and thank you for being here tonight. And for those that are watching, tonight's agenda consists of the consent agenda, the conditional use permit for Orscheln Farm and Home, the plan development, final plan, and final plat for Colonial Highlands. We'll hear those both together, then we'll vote on them separately. Then we have other business, and then finally adjournment. So at this time, I would entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I move that it be approved.
Okay, Commissioner
Second.
Fairbanks and Commissioner Graham made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we're going to have a public hearing, and let me read the instructions for the procedure for the public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. I'll call for exhibits from our city attorney. The staff will make their presentation. I'll ask the applicant if they would like to make a presentation. Will be followed by the commissioners can ask questions. I'll ask witnesses if they would like to come speak in favor, or those that might be here that would like to speak in opposition. Then we'll go ahead and have some general discussions. I'll close the public hearing, and then we'll have our vote. So with that, I will open the public hearing for the conditional use permit CUP 10-176077 Orscheln Farm and Home. And I'll ask the City Attorney Jackie to please read our exhibits.
Madam Chairman, on behalf of the city, I offer the following exhibits into the record. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on October 28, 2017. 3, application with attachments. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV, Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. And 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jury will be making the staff comments and presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman Banks and Planning Commissioners. Before you today is the request by the applicant and on behalf of the property owner, Orschelns, for the approval of a conditional use permit to allow outdoor sales and storage on the property located at 1100 Southwest 7 Highway, which is on the east side of 7 Highway, approximately 1,000 feet south of Southwest US 40 Highway. In the old Price Chopper location. It's approximately 8 acres in size, and it's currently zoned general business PUD, planned unit development. And there is an existing building on the site that the property owner wants to utilize for their Orschelns Farm and Home business. As you can see in this this site photo here, outlined in the dashed line. So this is coming before the Planning Commission as a conditional use permit because outdoor sales general is required to have a conditional use permit by the use table. Outdoor sales general, just to provide a definition of it, is the display of merchandise associated with an otherwise permitted retail use that requires areas to be designed and dedicated for outdoor display as part of the permanent operations of the use. Typical examples include garden center, lumber area associated with a home improvement center. And this is very much the case with Orschelns. They're providing a outdoor sales area that will be permanently used in the front of the building, on the west side of the building, in the existing parking lot area. Here's a site plan showing the existing building and then also the proposed area in diagonal striped and the diagonal striped area along the west side of the building and the southern portion of the parking lot. They are reducing the number of parking spaces, and because of that, they are adding parking spaces in the back, in the rear of the building. Most of these will be mainly for employee use, since they are in the rear. And the additional area of parking that's required for the outdoor sales area is about 8 or almost 9 parking spaces. And there were a total of 281 existing parking spaces, which was more than what was required. They're now, even with the additional outdoor sales area included in the calculations, they're still only required 269 parking spaces, and they've provided 274 total. So they do meet the parking requirements. However, since they are providing parking in the rear of the building, staff does recommend that prior to occupancy, the existing 6-foot privacy fence on the side and the rear of the building must be repaired as necessary to help keep some of the headlights from shining in on the residential properties to the east of this property. Other than that, staff does recommend approval of this CUP with 6 conditions. I'll stand for any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Jury from the commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
do we know
Mr.
what
Graham?
types of materials they'll be putting out there, storing? Will it be lumber, garden equipment?
I'll let
things?
the applicant
Okay.
provide that answer.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? I had asked to see if the applicant would like to make a presentation.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Jake Long.
You'll need to be sworn in,
Oh, sorry.
and
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
and name and address, please, for record.
Okay, my name is Jake Long. My office is out of 210 East 6th Street in Fulton, Missouri.
Okay, thank you.
And I really don't have anything to add that Mr. Jury hadn't already addressed. Appreciate the review this evening. And pending any questions that you may have, and I think Commissioner Graham, you had a question regarding material stored?
Yes.
Yes, mainly farm equipment, gates, fencing, materials, water tanks, just miscellaneous things. You'd see it like a tractor supply, or I think you've got a Feldman's here in town. So something very similar to that.
I guess my concern would be, since it's on the main thoroughfare, that it's done in an aesthetically pleasing
Yes,
way.
yes, sir. They're very well organized, and we also include a fenced-in area, decorative kind of fenced-in area that surrounds the equipment and material stored there.
What type of fencing?
It's a ornamental black fencing, basically.
But it's where you can see through
Yeah,
it,
you can
though.
still see through it. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions for the applicant? Oh, yes.
Would you
Chairman
have-
Fairbanks.
We have garden supplies like flowers and trees or anything like that for sale?
No, not really, ma'am. At times, they will place them outside. Obviously, they're seasonal in the spring, out in the front of the building, not necessarily so much out in the outdoor sales area itself.
So there will be a display on the front
On
of
the
the
front of the
structure?
building. Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
Thank you.
So,
I do have one more
Mr.
question.
Graham? Yeah.
Everything that'll be stored outside will be within that fenced area?
yes, sir. That's the plan.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for the applicant?
I would like to clarify, like I said,
Sure.
Commissioner Graham, that there would be items on the front side of the building that's under the overhang there that would potentially be stored as well. So, and that pertains to like seasonal items like flowers and plants and feed, stuff like that.
Any other questions?
All right.
Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much, ma'am.
All right, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of the project? Anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to the project? Okay, hearing none. Is there any other discussion here with any of the commissioners? Do you have any comments that you'd like to be on record?
Madam Chair,
Yeah, Commissioner.
I'd like to put it part of the record that I'm opposed to the pole sign, or the, and I'm not sure, they probably call it a pylon sign that's proposed on the property for Orchlands.
Okay, well, I don't think we're approving the sign, but I thank you for your comments.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you for bringing that up if you'd like to now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and ask for a motion for this conditional use permit.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Haney.
I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing conditional use permit CUP 10-17-6077 Orchland Farm with the 6 conditions.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Billups made the second. All right, this is a public hearing. We'll have roll call.
Okay. Planning Commissioner Cradoff.
Aye.
Commissioner Casey.
Aye.
Commissioner Graham.
Aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
Aye.
Commissioner Peel.
Aye.
Commissioner Duhan.
Aye.
Commissioner Billups.
Aye.
Commissioner Haney.
Aye.
Chairman Banks.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Now that does not go on to the city council. Correct. All right. Okay, now we have the plan development, final plan, and the final plat for Colonial Highlands. We'll hear these together, and again, Mr. Jury will present those.
Thank you, Planning Commissioners. Before you today is the final plat and PD final plan request from Salee Homes for the Colonial Highlands second phase, which would be the second plat in this case. So this plat and plan include approximately 20 acres, and in that 20 acres there's 40 lots with 5 tracts. It is a mix of single family and 2-family development, and it is zoned both SF7 PD for planned development and TF PD for 2-family planned development. This is the second phase of 3. The first phase has been approved previously, and the third phase will be just the remainder of the single-family area for Colonial Highlands. The applicant, or the proposal does generally match the approved plan development concept plan for the second phase, except for the open space. It does reduce the open space minimally. It does reduce it by 0.12 acres, or about 0.9% of the entire development open space allowed, and that does fall within the allowable decrease of 5%. So it's a little bit less than 1% decrease for the entire development. Additionally, the proposed plans for the housing and single family and 2-family, the applicant has stated that they will match the previously approved plans with the PD final plan for phase 1. The minimum square footage for single family in that and this plat was and is a minimum of 1,600 square feet. The 2-family lot, for single family lots, the 2-family lots do not have a minimum, and they are required by code to have a minimum livable floor area. Going on to the landscape plan, the general intent of the landscape plan was met. It does not meet the exact tree requirement according to code, but if you bring out the plant units and calculate it out using plant units rather than just strict tree requirement, then they are actually providing a little bit more plant units than required by code. So staff does believe that even though they're required 11 large shade tree and 24 small shade tree, the fact that they're providing 22 large shade trees over compared to the 11 required and 8 evergreens, they do, staff believes they meet the intent of this code. With that, they do need to install or financially guarantee all of the trails and landscaping required in the second phase prior to final plat approval. And everything in phase 1, 2, and 3 must be completed in terms of open space amenities prior to the final plat approval of phase 3. But that won't hold up phase 2, this phase. Additionally, the public sidewalks, shared use path, and street trees along Southeast Major Road and the budding open spaces tracks I through M must be installed or financially guaranteed as required by Public Works as well. And all the public improvements must be installed prior to final plat approval. Beyond that, I believe we are still waiting on a stormwater letter and also Public Water District 13's letter of substantial completion. So before final plat approval from City Council, those items also need to come through. So with that, staff does recommend the approval of both the final plat and the plan development final plan, both with 8 conditions. I'll stand for any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Jury? Okay. I would entertain a motion. We will vote on these separately. So I'd entertain a motion for the final plan first.
Madam Chair, would you like to hear from the applicant as well? The applicant is present.
Yes. I did it again, didn't I?
No, it's fine. The applicant is present, so
okay.
You may not have seen him step in. So.
Would the applicant like to make a presentation? Okay, I didn't know who you were. Sorry.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth?
Oh, no, you don't have to be sworn in. This isn't a public hearing. Got you off that one, though.
All right. My name is Randy Salee with Salee Homes Incorporated, 3730 Northeast Troon Drive, Lee Summit, Missouri is my office location. And this is basically a continuation of the preliminary plat and the first plat. And I believe there are 23 single-family home sites and about 17 attached homes, lots that are in this phase here. We have completed this fall the community amenity, which is the pool. The walking trail is completed with the exception of tying it into the ADA ramps at both ends of the asphalt walking trail. And then we're continuing to do some tree transplanting from the original colonial property. And we're trying to utilize some of the trees that are on site. So we'll continue to work with staff and try to get all that completed that we can this fall and hopefully continue building homes through the winter months. So any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there any questions for the applicant? Yes, Commissioner Fairbanks.
It probably is a minor detail, but one of the notary acknowledgements on your documentation is incorrect.
And what would that be? I'm sorry, I don't know.
It was the one that, what's your son's name?
Randall Tyler Salee.
Yeah. He actually signed as the notary. And like I say, I know it's a minor thing, but it's something that you might want to try to get corrected.
Was that on the final copies of the plats?
It appears as though it's on the HOA declaration.
Oh,
just to make sure the HOA declarations are corrected. As
Okay.
Commissioner Fairbanks noted, that's a good catch.
Okay. We'll get that corrected though, but he is an officer of our company, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there.
Well, but it says, before me, blank, a notary public. and then the notary public stamped it, and he's not the notary public.
Oh, that's correct. Okay. All right, I'm with you. Okay.
So
All
it's,
right.
you
We'll get that
know, I know
corrected.
it's a
then.
minor thing, but it's there.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions for the applicant?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to ask
Mr.
staff, were there any oppositional letters that were received on this?
No letters go out for the PD finals or final plats, no letters go out.
Understood, but there weren't anybody that was opposed to
Oh, no.
approval?
No one, never received anything. No.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, now, is there anyone that would like to make a motion?
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the Colonial Heights PDC Final Plat 1 and 2, PDF-10-17-6084, with the 8 conditions and corrections of the notary flaw.
Okay.
Second.
Commissioner Craddock? Yes. Commissioner Peel?
Second.
Second. Thank you very much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carried. Now we'll go to the final plat for Colonial Highlands, second plat. Do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Peel?
I move that PF 1017-6055 for Colonial Highlands second plat with the 8 conditions be approved as submitted.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Craddock? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, now that will, the motion carried, by the way, that will go to the City Council on November the 20th. That is the final plat, though, as a recommendation. Thank you. All right. I guess, is there any other business this time?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if you'd like, I could go through the draft, the tentative agenda for the November 27th.
Must be pretty long.
Indeed.
I need everybody there. Could you want to just surprise us then, not make us depressed for Thanksgiving?
We can do that. However, yes, it is the Monday after Thanksgiving, so if you have any potential for not being present, please let Ms. Fedora know or Chairman Banks, and we'll make sure we have a quorum for the 27th. As it stands now, again, these are all tentative. We are anticipating a public hearing for a de-annexation. This is a property at southwest corner of Wyatt Road and Adams-Dairy Parkway where it turns into Shrout Road. Again, it's a public hearing. It acts very much like any other public hearing and recommendation to City Council. So it's not a final decision of the Planning Commission, but it's something that would be forwarded on to the City Council. So again, City Council has been made aware of this application as well. So again, it's something that will be coming forward to you as a public hearing. So anticipate seeing that on the 27th, as well as a public hearing for vacation for Eagles Ridge Estates. I don't know if Mr. Jury knows any more about that or specifics about that, but
It was just the vacation is just a request for a right-of-way vacation of a remnant curb stub out that was no longer needed at this point for the proposed subdivision layout.
right, thank you. And then you've seen Tidal Wave Auto Spa continued several times. They're anticipating coming forward at that meeting on the 27th as it currently stands. They did have to continue their variance request at the Board of Adjustment last week due to some changes in their building layout with regards to the traffic study. That was just finalized. So that's been the delay, has been the traffic study and then how that could impact their layout of the property. So anticipate seeing that forward, but that may be continued yet again, we'll see. Baumgartner Park, Centennial Poolplex, there's a process of that being transferred over to the school district in terms of the pool itself, not the Baumgartner Park, but the pool itself. And this will be potentially the first rezoning for the zoning district category public land and open space. Those of you who've been on the Planning Commission for more than 10 years may recall we added this category for exactly that, public lands and open space. Up until that point, there are a number of parks and such that are not zoned anything other than a single-family residential or light industrial even in areas. So this is an opportunity as this property transitions to bring that forward as a new public land, public designated zoning district. Along with that, there'll be preliminary plat and final plats with that as well. And then final plat for Sunny Point, second plat. This is a project up on Artie Mize Road, near Pink Hill Road, just north of Hidden Point and south of Shepherd Road. And that's a project that has been stalled since before the recession 10 years ago. So this too is something that's starting to work its way back into the system. So a number of vacant lots and subdivisions throughout the city are starting to come back online. So a long agenda just because of the different projects involved. But again, all hopefully fairly straightforward. With the exception again of that de-annexation, which is a little different. It's something that the Planning Commission hasn't seen for a number of years as well either. So that's all we have, a long agenda, but one with a lot of necessary steps here as we go forward. So again, page 3. Page 3 of the agenda is a couple other quick things. A master sign plan for Goodwill, as well as, this is the last exciting one, is site plan design review for IHOP. So they're coming forward over by Arby's in that area, off Coronado. So, I'm pretty really scroll down, just make sure, yes, 3 pages, that's all we have. So, all right, so a lot going on. And again, please let Ms. Fedora or Chairman Banks know if you're unable to be here. Again, it is the Monday after Thanksgiving. Thank you.
So we can eat and read our stuff over Thanksgiving. So, all right. Is there any other business? Mr. Phillips.
I have to do my downtown duty here.
You bet.
This Thursday evening from 5 to 8 is the annual holiday open house with the merchants downtown. And in addition to the merchants, there will be several of the businesses are opening up their stores for home-based artists and craftsmen to have booths, and it's a good time. Ladies, come out and start your Christmas shopping.
Good. Anything else for... All right. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner Peel?
I'll
Do I hear a
second.
second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Fairbanks, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Good evening.